We feel that it does rise to the level of criminal. All information received in our report and further reports will be turned over to all authorities relevant to make a final determination.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, today we're going to be going over Tiffany A. Henyard and how this corrupt super mayor has been running this Dalton Village into the ground from Illinois, and it's been quite horrific. Now, if you guys ever want to look at an actual legitimate dictatorship / communism, well, there's you have it. Tiffany A. Henyard is probably one of the most corrupt mayors we've had in a decade in our country, and that is probably not even an understatement. There is still more to come out, but for all we know, that has not yet been released. And it goes to show that if the people actually understood communism, which you will hear that they don't like anything that has been going on here, or what this mayor has done, which would be pretty much borderline communism / dictatorship, then they understand if they had a full country that actually did this. So, that being said, we're going to be going over a few things here. And this is what we have with the expenditures, where, the liability insurance is, close to 1.1 million to 1.9 million in 2023, and 2024 is 3.2 million. It's quite insane, and you're just not gonna understand the concept of what's been going on here with this mayor. All right, guys, without further ado, here's the clip.
There have been increases in general administration spending in nearly every area, but there are a handful that stick out the most. As you can see on the first line, the largest driver of this increase is a more than double change in liability insurance cost. It's gone from 1.2 million in fiscal year 2022 to 3.2 million in fiscal year 2024. Other areas where we see large increases are miscellaneous expenditures, settlements, legal fees, and telephone.
Let me just add regarding the legal fees. These are, everything that we're representing to you tonight are things that have been booked in one of the general ledgers or otherwise. We know that the legal fees that have been booked so far are underestimated because there are a number of legal fees that have yet to be paid. And obviously, with the litigation that's been filed, particularly by vendors who have not been paid, those legal fees will definitely, this is a very conservative estimate of what those fees actually are.
So what's been going on here is that the legal fees of everything that has been going on with the Tiffany A. Henyard case has been insane, mostly because due to the fact that these people that were, supposed to be getting money are not getting money, and now Tiffany A. Henyard, among other things, is being sued, on top of the fact that this legal fees, among other things, for this investigation is rising. And this is a huge problem. And you're going to find out more of a bigger issue of this problem, because the issue that we have here is that everything is completely chaotic. Now, what we have here is going to be a little bit insane. We have the police department, where things are not going too great here with the police department. Because the police department is being paid a bit too much in terms of certain people. Now, we have, of course, if we go down to the specifics here of the police department, we have certain people with, Officer Terry Young and all these other things. One is being paid $108,000. Another around to $140 in 2023, and then his overtime, which would be paid for $114,000. And then if you go Officer William Reed, he's paid his overtime was $87,000, but then it goes in 2023. But then in 2024, he gets $102,000, and then their total earnings of Terry Young is $194,000. And $224,000 in 2024, and Officer Reed's total earnings is $145,000, and then $192,000 in 2024. So as you can see here, this is quite insane. So the police department has a lot of money of overtime pay that doesn't make sense. Not only that, they're being paid more than the chief officer, so there's that too.
Those expenditures have increased approximately 21% since FY22. Some of that is obviously driven by the union contracts and making sure that there's retro pay and that the police officers are compensated according to the collective bargaining agreement. within the police department expenditures, categories with large increases include overtime, other miscellaneous expenses, and I will tell you, we don't know exactly what that is, but we're working on unpacking that, contractual services, other professional services, and medical insurance. We wanted to highlight for you, particularly given overtime, what we saw as two outliers in officers, Officer Terry Young and Officer William Reed. Both of these individuals in the last 2 years have earned more in overtime than their base compensation. And you can see these numbers here. Officer Terry Young in FY 2023 earned $194,290 total, given the base salary and the overtime. And then in FY 2024, that increased to $227,351, combining the base salary and the overtime. Officer Reed for FY 2023 had a total earnings of $145,450, and in FY 2024, $192,732. We thought it also important for you to know that Acting Chief Lacey has accumulated overtime. It's our understanding that he is not part of the collective bargaining unit and has not been for some time, which under normal circumstances would mean that he is not entitled to overtime. But as you can see here, for FY22, FY23, and FY24, and we're now in fiscal year 2025, through those 4 years, he's accumulated $215,747,000 just in overtime. Now we're going to move, ladies and gentlemen.
So what we have here is that the Dalton Village or the super mayor, Tiffany A. Hangard, is overpaying the officers drastically. So much so that they're making more money than the chief officer. So that being said, if the chief officer is getting paid less than the actual other officers that are not chief, that's going to be a sign that is not too great, don't you think? Well, it gets worse, guys. So there are a whole bunch of credit cards that the Dalton Village actually has. And the Dalton Village does not have access or does not have an actual Amazon account. Well, unfortunately, Tiffany A. Hangard was using these credit cards to purchase around $40,000, a little bit over $40,000 on the same day off of Amazon. Yeah, you heard me correctly. So I don't know what else to tell you, but if that is not corruption, if this is not embezzlement, I don't know what else to tell you. It's just insane.
We want to highlight a couple of credit card purchases. You're having the same reaction that we did when we saw this. So in particular, we were very concerned to see the top 3 purchases that were highlighted for you that were booked on January 5th of 2023. That's roughly $40,000, a little more than that, in credit card purchases on Amazon in the same day. And our understanding is that the village does not have an Amazon account. These are somebody using one of the credit cards and charging these amounts using your tax dollars.
Yeah, so we have the Dalton mayor, the super mayor, Tiffany A. Hangard, is just robbing the the tax dollars of Dalton and making it go directly to the Amazon account and buying multiple things. Because, I wonder how she was able to get that truck, because, that's a whole bunch of expenses. And again, guys, these are expenses that there is still a lot more to be discovered. This is just a tip of the iceberg, guys. We don't know on how much other stuff that this woman has spent and done to get these things, right? So again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's still more to become. So what we have here, the next thing that we will have here, is the bank balance. Now, so the village has 22 bank accounts, and of course, back in 2021, they had, I guess 1.5 million, if you round it out, to in their actual balance. Now, in June 2024, it only has $715,000. And it was a decrease of $777,000. This is insane. So, they don't have very much in here, as you can say, and it's quite disturbing. Now, if you go to the Illinois funds of the actual account balance, you'll see that on April 2021, they'll have $2 million, and then the balance in June is now $3,900, and then it was a decrease of $2,026,446. So again, she has stolen practically all this money, all of it. It's insane, and that's what we're going to be talking about here with this whole situation. So oh boy.
We'll turn now to discuss the cash status of the village. So the village has 22 different bank accounts. A majority of those bank accounts are designated for the special revenue funds or bond escrow funds. So the money in those bank accounts is restricted and shouldn't be used for day-to-day operations. I'll also note that these 22 accounts don't include the pension assets. The pension assets are held in separate trust accounts. Most of the village's expenditures each month are paid from one main operating bank account. As of June 30th, 2024, that bank account had a balance of $715,000. As of April 30th, 2021, that account had a balance of almost $1.5 million. So a decrease of over $750,000. In addition to the main operating account, historically, the village has held its excess cash in an account known as Illinois funds. Illinois funds are interest-bearing accounts that are managed by the Illinois Treasurer's Office that allow municipalities to earn interest on their excess cash balance. The balance in the Illinois funds account as of June 30th was only $3,900. As of April 30th, 2021, that balance was over $2 million. So the balance of excess cash has dropped by over $2 million in that time period.
Yeah, so as you can see here, guys, it is not great. It is not looking too good for Tiffany A. Hanger. And at the end of this, I want you guys all to know that this is criminal level type stuff. And this guy here, this gentleman, has said that like there should be labeled with some type of embezzlement, some type of criminal activity. And of course, they say that it is some criminal activity. And I don't think they're going to go after Tiffany A. Hanger quite exactly yet, because they're still under investigation. And on top of that, they want to get more information of what is going on and what is actually truly this thing. As I said, there's still a lot more to be done, and we still don't know exactly what is going on with this particular case. So this is what this gentleman has to say about having to have type of a responsibility of this, and saying that there are criminal suits possibly going on in the future.
To everyone in this South suburban region, it happened to us. She's using you all. He's using that entity to wash the money. It's pretty obvious, and we got to find a way to stop that. And I do have a question. Do any of these things, if proven, does any of this stuff rise to the level of criminal? I don't know who might know that, but there's got to be some. If they can get a guy for stealing $10,000 out of a bank or something, embezzling, this is embezzling on a grand scale. That's pretty much all I have to say right now.
Okay. So I'll give a quick response. We feel that it does rise to the level of criminal. All information received in our report and further reports will be turned over to all authorities relevant to make a final determination.
Yeah, so as I said, there will be some type of actual criminal liability or what have you in the near future, but until then, we need to wait and find out. So I'll be doing more videos on Tiffany A. Henyard. There's still a little bit more that you guys kind of want to go over. I'll also be doing a bit of a kind of explanation on what this woman goes here, because I actually want to talk about that. So yeah, Tiffany A. Henyard is in ground zero. She is pretty much screwed. It's just a matter of when they actually go after for the neck of Tiffany A. Henyard and to arrest her, and this will be in a federal case, but I'm going to assume this is still going to be a while, probably not until 2025, until this woman actually sees prison time. But until then, it's not going to be looking too great for Tiffany A. Henyard, and I think there's a dark road ahead of her still. So guys, that's it for the video. Like, guys, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. This is algorithmic disease, the social media.